Hello Calculus, this is the first video to help you with the Selfie project. So here's my sample. I'm going to come over here and turn on the image so you can see, just like we showed in class, this is Selena Gomez. I'm going to go ahead and turn the image off here. You know, don't close the image unless you want to actually get rid of it. You want to just keep turning it, toggling it on and off right here. I would also strongly urge you to save it as something, right, and make sure to press save, especially if you're going to close out of this window, because I've lost many equations because I've forgotten to save it time after time. And here, just a quick glance at this is really what I'm looking for you to produce, these folders, and I will talk about those in class or in other videos. And then within the folders are lots of equations that I used to create this selfie image. So let me start with a fresh example. Just to show you how to input a picture and put a couple of equations in. So once you know what picture you're going to use, what selfie you're going to use, and yes, it should be a selfie of yourself. My example is not a selfie of me, but I'm going to go here to the plus sign, go down to add an image, and find wherever your image is. Mine's right here, and I'm going to insert it. And there's a picture of my son from about 10 years ago. I'm sure he's happy that I'm using this, and my niece. And then you can, if you don't like, the size of it, you can make it bigger, make it smaller. If you don't want it centered at 0, 0, you can come up here and change, change the center to 5, 5, or so forth. I've already had this picture in here, and I'm starting with equations in there, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this. And here is my image, right, the same exact image. I'm going to leave it right here. Now, when you first want to start drawing with it, you want to look at features and try to come up with an equation that would fit that feature. So, and again, I'm going to zoom in right now because I want to look at the piece symbol that my son is making. So let's say we want to come up with an equation that represents maybe this curve right here. To me, it looks like a parabola or a quadratic equation. And here's where all our work in class on functions and transforming functions and the work you've done in the past couple years is going to come into play. So you need to think about what function best fits certain features. So if this is a basic y equals x squared, but I need to translate it left and right, and then I probably also need to stretch or shrink it. And if I turn that on, and let me actually get rid of this for a second. If I turn that on, there's a parabola. Again, I can't seem to get the perfect V, so I'm going to just use it to represent this part, right, this left part of the finger right here. And I can't have all these equations all over the place, so the next thing is to practice restricting the domain. And you restrict the domain by adding a squiggle bracket after your function. So for example, if I come in here and just do squiggle bracket, and if I look down here on the x-axis and I put -3 less than x less than 0, right, again, I know that doesn't quite fit. You can see how it's restricted the domain. What's nice about this is sometimes, right, when it's on a certain point, I know that this is -2.6, so I want to come over here at -2.6 and restrict this, and then maybe to about right here. I'm looking down at somewhere past the -2, so let me change this to about -2.3, and maybe a little bit less than that, to 4, okay? And that's going to represent that part of the finger there. And then you want to continue with adding more functions. Also in Desmos, notice here, I've called this f of x. I could change this and call it y, and that's perfectly fine, or in fact, I don't even need a y equals in there. I myself prefer to have a y equals in there, but that's up to you. And you can see here, let me add some of the lines I've put in this one already. All right, so I've got a lot of quadratics, I've got a lot of lines. You'll find that you kind of start to lean on one or more types of functions to represent your features, which is fine as long as you have at least one of the required functions in there. And then to see how well it matches, just go right up here and turn your picture off. And hey, I can see I've got the beginnings of that peace sign there. If I want them all to be the same color, I just put my mouse or my pointer right over the color. So while selecting it turns it off, but if you actually select it and hold it down, and it might work differently on different laptops, you can choose this. Why don't I make these all red? You can see also on there you can choose from dots or dashed lines, and that might be helpful for some of you. So let me quickly, I think I've got one more to go. So I'm going to keep those all the same color. That's your choice whether or not you want to do that. So there's the beginning parts of your selfie project. Go ahead and find that perfect selfie of yourself, and if you have questions, just ask. This project will take some time, so please don't wait to the last minute. I'll see you in class soon.